Hello. Hello, welcome to Everyday Ordinary Extraordinary Women. I'm Martina and I'm here with Christina and we are your hosts. And we are deep divers and avid students of life. And we are also powerful facilitators for healing. And in real life, I am a life coach specializing in parent and women empowerment. And I'm also a sound healer.
And I'm Christina. I'm an intuitive healer, massage therapist who loves to blend energy work to customize my services for my clients. We both love using essential oils, crystals, angelic Reiki, and intuitive guidance to work with our clients to the best of their ability.
So let me tell you a little bit about the context, okay? So we were inspired to create this podcast after pondering this question. What would the world look like where we can be inspired by every person? Usually we are so quick to compare and judge ourselves and others. And when we do that, everybody's losing. So depending on my point of view, I can either feel small because I come out lacking, or arrogant and dismissive because I feel superior. Those are the only two options, and neither of those options make us feel great. So here's our thought. Someone's everyday normal is someone else's extraordinary. Judgment comes from first impressions, and we invite you, the listener, to go beyond first impressions and see the magic everywhere. There's inspiration at every corner, in everyone, if we're willing to look. And today we're here with Laura. Laura, welcome. Thank you for being here. Do you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, sure. Hi, my name is Laura Hoffman, and I am an intuitive wellness coach and energy healer. I have been in the energy arts or the spiritual arts for over a decade, maybe longer. And I have a business that I run full time, working with clients, helping them relieve past traumas, clear energy blocks, and yeah, I have a daughter who is 23, turning 23, and I'm divorced and single with a boyfriend, although living on Long Island, New York.
Thank you. Thank you for being here. You know, I met you when I scheduled my QHHT session. It's quantum
Healing, hypnosis technique.
healing hypnosis. I always get the order wrong. And you know, I remember walking in a little like, okay, I'm not sure what's expecting me here, because I found you online and I felt this instant connection with you. So I am so excited, so excited to be here with you. And you just had started full time in your office and like such, you know, big steps, right? And so I so appreciate, I appreciated all that you gave me that day and your wisdom and your insight and your clarity that you have. So thank you for being here. So Laura, if we really knew you, what would we know?
If you really knew me, what would you know? Oh, um, so what would my friends say, right? What would they say? They would say that I am a very compassionate person. I've been through a lot. I keep my energy high. I'm always smiling, even through the hardest of times. Most times, people wouldn't even know if I had a major tragedy happening because I've always been able to keep myself in a place where I'm smiling, I'm bringing energy to the room, that I'm in a happy mode and keeping myself feeling very confident as well. So they would say I'm confident. I come across as someone who, although I help work with people to relieve blockages and energetic blockages, I had to do my own work on myself for many years. Um, I'm a very loving and caring person, although, you know, I do have a Scorpio rising in my sign. So I have that, you know, I got that tail. And I'm a Taurus, so I have a long fuse, but I'm also very forgiving, and not only of my friends and people and places, but also of myself. I've learned to become very forgiving, especially of myself.
You know what is beautiful inside of what you're sharing is, yes, we have to do our own work, right? Because otherwise you cannot be who, how can I say it, who you're meant to be here if we don't let go of our shit over and over and over, and the next one and the next level and the next level of it. Yeah, that's beautiful. And it is the journey, right? Ultimately, it's the journey. It's not
It's
a
constant.
destination.
Absolutely. It's constant. I'm always finding myself wanting to learn more, whether it's on the modality of spiritual, whatever, right? Whatever it is, whether it's in that phase of my life and or if it's in other levels of my life as well, art, being creative and picking up art and doing something like that. Or I'm in the process now of writing, which I've never been a good writer. And I don't know if you guys, I'm sure you're familiar with Gabby Bernstein. She's written some amazing books, right? So I just recently took one of her master classes, like, one of those free master classes about writing a book, because I keep getting these downloads that I have so much to share, so much to share. I've done so much. I've I've done so much. I have so much that people need to hear it. And I don't know where to start. So anyway, I take this master class and I wrote a little ebook afterwards, and I floored myself that I was able to really get my thoughts together and be able to share something that I never thought in a million years I'd be able to do. So, again, it's a learning. I'm constantly feel that I want to learn more. And by this little master class that I took, it gave me the energy or the movement to write this little ebook that I never thought I would write. So it is a journey, and it's a constant journey. And for me, I love it. I'm gotten to a place in my life that I'm accepting that it's fun to learn, to do new things. And then it is a journey. You never know what's around the bend. That's what I say to my 23-year-old daughter. Stay in the moment, because you don't know. You don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. You don't know what's going to happen this afternoon, and that's the fun of it.
So good. I love too when you talked about like choosing and being intentional about being positive and happy. Like, it's such a choice, and we don't often get that. And I love that that's where you come from in life. It's such a beautiful place to ground yourself in. Really nice.
Thank you.
All right, we're gonna move into our icebreaker question. Tell us a funny, silly, or embarrassing story about yourself.
I had to dig a little deep because, I'm a Taurus again, so I'm a little serious. I don't like to make fun of myself. However, years ago, when I was first starting out, I was going on an interview. And back then it was before, Blackberries, iPhone, whatever, right? So you had to write down the time, the date, before emails. I mean, crazy, right? 1987-ish. And I got the date wrong. I had the time right, but I had the date wrong. And I drove all the way to Greenpoint, Brooklyn. And I swear he gave me the wrong date. I swear. And I drove all the way to Greenpoint, Brooklyn, went over the bridge and, scared, nervous, pull up. I walk into this kind of executive office, and thank God he was there. His name was Ed McLaughlin. And he was my first boss, and he was there. And he said, you're a day early, but come on in, come on in. And one of the things he said to me is, he said, you got the date wrong. And I go, I was so nervous. And I said to myself, I said out loud to him, I go, well, sir, I really don't think I did. I think you told me It was today. And he went back and he looked at his notes and he was wrong. And because I said something to him and actually stuck up for myself, gave me the job. And I was right out of college. I was 22 years old. And it was an amazing experience. And it was meant to be. He was my first boss. And not to go down the rabbit hole, but when I think of Ed McLaughlin, I think of that day and how he had this young, frightened girl who showed up on the wrong day. And he was so generous and kind to me in that moment. He was a boss, right? Later on, but in that moment. And what I always will remember about Ed is he gave me my first sort of self-help book. He gave me a Tony Robbins book.
Mm.
When Tony Robbins, he was just starting out with the 7 steps or whatever it was. And the book was, and I still use some of that today, is to emulate who you want to be. So Ed McLaughlin was someone who I wanted to be. I wanted to treat people when they came in scared, nervous, and I've interviewed since that time myself. I've been a boss. I've been in corporate for 30 years. I must have interviewed 100 people or more. And I'm always remember that interview with Ed, that everybody's coming in scared. Everybody's a little nervous. I always try to break the ice and remind myself of that first day. So that's my funny story.
That's so beautiful. It's really like an impact. Well, there's a few things. One is the impact that one person had on the future trajectory of your life. And then that you at that age still were like, no, I don't think. Like you were standing up for yourself. Like you had the courage, right, to stand up for yourself and say, I don't think so. And then that he went back rather than deny it and check and make sure and said, no, you're right. Right? There's so many nuggets in there, right? The earth angels that follow us and the gifts they bring to us is just beautiful.
Thank you.
Beautiful. So, Christina, sorry, did you want to say something?
No, go ahead.
Okay, good. So what made you who you are today? For example, what was your biggest lesson, or what took the most courage, or when did you stand up for something that mattered?
Yeah, so I go back to one of my biggest lessons, well, was my divorce, going through my divorce, which I think, anyone that's gone through a divorce with children, homes, finances, all of that. And my biggest lesson was and here I'm gonna get emotional, was to forgive myself, because I had just as much a part in the breakdown of our marriage as my ex-husband. Although, I wanted to blame him at that time, he cheated, he did this, he did that, blah, 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 right? But I knew, I knew stuff was going on. I knew, and I chose to ignore. And, so there was a lot of gifts that were given to me through that process. And there was a lot of learning for me. And like I said, one of the biggest things was, for me, was about self-forgiveness, forgiving myself and also forgiving him, because we did have a daughter that we needed to bring up and we needed to co-parent. And there could be a lot of anger and resentment and pain that is associated with breakups like that. I have clients that come in that are going through or have gone through very similar things. And that's one of the lessons I learned that I like to share with people, is that we have to forgive ourselves through the process. Because if we don't forgive ourselves, if we don't forgive ourselves, how could we forgive them? And how could we live feeling and releasing that pain and that anger? So that was, for me, one of the biggest challenges. I've had some other challenges, part of the journey, right? The hero's journey, right? Joseph Campbell, like, we're part of the hero's journey. is to overcome some of them. But as soon as you overcome one, another one shows up. But it shows up on purpose because there's another lesson I'm supposed to learn, you know. So yeah, so that was one of the biggest ones for me is, and at that time, you know, I was doing yoga and I was meditating a little bit here and there, but that explosion, that breakdown for me really led to the breakthrough. And everything happened at that one time when I decided to sell the house, and we had to sell the house. Then all of a sudden, my aunt and uncle, they were in their 90s. They lived a beautiful life, but one passed away, and then the other one passed away not too long after. And she said to me she wanted me to buy her home. So I was able to move from one home to another seamlessly, you know, and get my daughter into the right school district. So, you know, I guess the reason why I'm saying that is because although there was this incredible breakdown for me, I had a lot of breakthroughs that came out of it. Being independent, learning to be independent, and creating this beautiful life that I was able to do for my daughter and I.
And it feels like there's a next expression of us, like whenever there's a breakdown, right? There's a next expression of us that is being called forth, right? And however we choose to navigate that breakdown, right? Or transition. And I love how you're saying that, you know, like you taking responsibility, right? It's like, it's one of the biggest challenges, forgiving yourself, one of the biggest challenges, and assuming responsibility for your part in whatever happened.
Exactly.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a hard one, you know.
Don't we know?
Yes.
I'm still learning that one.
Yeah, I think we all, there's always
Every
pieces
day.
we still need to own, right? Yeah. So Laura, what's your superpower?
You know, when I looked at the list of things that, and I said, oh, my superpower, what's my superpower? What do I do? What do I do? So I said, what do my clients or my friends, you know, or family tell me that I do? And what I do is, if I had to give it a name, it's an energy alchemist. Now, where I came up with that is alchemist is the change, right? Creating this change of something. And what I do with the energy work, I do not just energy work when I say, you know, in trance and in a session, just in life, you know, the you know, the grocery store person, whoever, it doesn't make a difference. It doesn't make a difference. But allowing others to transform their stagnant pain, whatever it is, energy that they have around them, and allowing them a space, whether it's a smile at someone, right, to change their entire attitude for the day, or saying hello to them and smiling at them and how's your day, or if it's in a full-blown session with the client, but allowing them to transform that energy out from one place to another place. And that could be love, that could be freedom, that could be forgiveness, that could be confidence, that could be clarity. So that's what my clients tell me I help them do, and my friends and family. So
Yummy.
So good.
and I might add that on my website somewhere because I like that.
Energy alchemist. I may steal that one, Laura, I have to say.
You know, it's funny. My sister was just visiting from Minnesota, and I don't watch a lot of TV, but she's retired, you know, so Netflix was going on a lot in my house, and we watched this one show, and I won't remember the name now, but it was I'll think of it, but it was about witches and demons and all this stuff, and she was an alchemist, and I thought, oh, I like that. I go, I'm an alchemist, just in a different form.
Yeah.
Yeah. So energy,
yeah,
superpower.
yes.
What I think is cool about it too is that you claim it as yours, right? Like we make a difference wherever we walk, right? And we can be committed to leave the room better than what we came into or not, right? We can become aware to the difference we make, and it is it's beautiful that like you're taking responsibility for that. Like you're like, we all are change makers, right? We all are, right? But I love that you're claiming it as yours. Like, this is mine. I do that, right? It's not just something that happens or not, or you know, like taking responsibility and being responsible for it both ways, right?
Thank you.
Yeah. So what fills you up? You're doing all of that, you're giving.
Yeah. So my work really does fill me up, and that's going to make me emotional, because when I have a client that comes in that is in despair, that is lost, and when they leave, even if I made a little dent and they're smiling, or they felt something shift in them, or they felt peace or calm, that's what fills me up. And one of the reasons why I had to move forward in doing what I'm doing, as a full-time business, but that's what fills me up. What also fills me up is my personal practice. I'm a Kundalini Yoga Practitioner. I'm a teacher. I don't necessarily teach, but I use it with my clients as part of packages. But my sadhana, my practice, my breath work, my meditation, my yoga, my silencing my body and my mind and being able to kind of pull myself out is also what I love, what fills me up.
So good. Mm-mm-mm.
And of course, love. I got my boyfriend who I love. I love Andrew. He's great. He's amazing. He's great. And my daughter.
Mm-mm.
So
Awesome.
yeah.
Yay. So Laura, if you had a magic wand and could give people any quality, what would you give and why?
Yeah. So my magic wand would be, and I know this sounds kind of, but it really would be love. It would be opening people's hearts to love. You know, I've been a Course in Miracles student for probably 10 years now, maybe longer. I started going to classes. I got the book. I didn't know what it was, but I was kind of told, get the book. And I started reading the book and I went, holy shit, I can't read this book. I don't know what this is. So then I found somebody, a friend, speaking about it. And he said, just go to the workbook. Just start at lesson 1. And then I did lesson 1. I go, what is this? I'm supposed to not know anything around me or about me. And then I started found this class, Monday night class, Tuesday night class, and it's all about transforming fear to love. That's what it's about. Not only A Course in Miracles, but also just our lives and the journey, right? The hero's journey is about the transformation from fear to love. So that would be my magic wand. Open people's hearts and let them feel, like really genuinely feel that love in their heart that just feels giddy, right? Like when you're a young kid and you see somebody and it makes your heart flutter, that heart flutter, that butterfly flutter. That's what I would want to be able to give my magic wand to everyone, for their heart to flutter at some level, some point.
So yummy. Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, if the hearts are open, there's really like, you wouldn't do anything that is not aligned, right? If you know that love is available, like, why would you even consider I don't know, stealing or, you know, numbing yourself or killing someone, or, you know, like if we would be so clear and present to that love,
Mhm.
it's just really beautiful.
Yeah. You know, it's actually not every time, but most times when I'm working with a new client, after I do a little energy work on them, I have them put their hands on their heart and listen. What's their heart say? And they're like, oh, my heart? Like, yeah, listen to your heart. It's stronger than the brain, the energy field around our hearts. They can even measure it. It's stronger. So when you listen to what your heart wants, it's like doors open.
You know, it reminds me of The Alchemist, of course, Paulo Coelho, right? There's the alchemist again, right? And how, like towards the end, it's all about the heart and listening and what the heart has to say and paying attention, right? And the heart is quiet because we've not paid attention to it, right? Can we open up to it? Beautiful, beautiful. So given that we're talking about love, tell us about a time you took a chance for love. And maybe it's romantic, maybe it's not romantic. When did you take a chance for love?
You know, I got to stick with my current love, Andrew, because I'm not one to go up to men at all. It's not who I am. And I don't give out my card. I don't do things like that. That's just not who I am. And before I met Andrew, it's been 3 years now. I'd been single for a long time, like really long time. I was doing this type of work. I was working full time. I had my daughter, and the dating apps, and oh my God, like horrible, just horrible for me. For me, I mean, some people find the love of their life. I always wondered how they did it. You know, for me, it didn't work. So anyway, I was at an event and I was with a friend, and there was dancing and on the dance floor, and it happened to be his birthday. He was there with a lot of people. I had no idea who he was. A friend of mine knew some of the people that he was with, and I felt something pull my heart. And I don't think I've ever felt that before. You know, on some level, right? You feel the little butterflies and stuff, but I literally felt pulled by my heart. I didn't know if he was married. It was busy, you know, so I didn't see a ring. I didn't know anything. And I was Cinderella. I had to get up early the next morning, and it was 9 o'clock. You know, the time I gotta get up. I got a 7 a.m. meeting. I gotta go. I didn't know where he went. I had said a few words to him. I didn't know where he went. And I saw a friend of his, and I gave him my business card. And I said, you know, could you do me a favor? Could you give this to your friend and just tell him I had to leave? And I left and I did it. And I'd never done anything like that before. Again, I didn't know if he was married. I didn't know anything. And the next day he called, which was beautiful. Yeah. So that was something I did because my heart, now, if prior to doing a lot of the work that I've done on myself, I might have ignored it. I might have, you know, oh, my head, I gotta go. He's married. It's a bar, you know, whatever it was, right? But my heart just got pulled and I listened.
So sweet.
That was my story. Yeah. So, because if you listen to this now, he'll know.
It is so sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I have to say, you know, my daughter, what I've done for her for love surpasses anything that I would do for anyone else in this lifetime. And what I've done for her was I left a marriage. It was horrific to have to do it. I had to do it. I had to move on. I couldn't stay in a place where I was so unhappy, even though I could have forgiven, I could have stayed, I could have, you know, pretended like I see a lot of people do to keep for the kids. I could have done all of that. and I didn't. And I did create some chaos, you know, between him and her and me, but it was done out of love for her, and it was done out of love for me, and it was done out of me knowing that the future would be better for her as well, not being in a dysfunctional love, you know, I don't want to say love less. I loved him, but not the love that, you know, the bickering, the anger, you know, it never would have healed the way that it could have been a great relationship, if that makes sense. So I did that as well. And there were a lot of hard times for her and I that I did out of love, that one day she'll understand. But she gets an idea
Maybe.
now. She was angry for a long time at me.
Yeah.
Very angry, you know,
Yeah.
because he was the victim. You know, I got this, you got this, you took this from him, you did this, you did this, you did this. And she was very angry with me for a very long time because she didn't understand what I did, that it wasn't selfish. It was out of love for her as well, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's safe to vent to you. It's safe to tell you how pissed off she is, like, and so that's how she processed it, right? Like, I'm sure she grew from the chaos too. Everyone grows from the chaos, right? That's what chaos teaches us. It rubs us the wrong way and makes us grow. And but in the end, you taught her how to be in a relationship. Like, that this is not okay to be in a relationship where the conversation isn't loving and whatever, and now you're modeling in another relationship really what it's like. And so ultimately, um it's a beautiful thing. Yeah.
Well, and what I tell my children is, you pick this. You picked me, you picked this exactly as it is. You know, we collaborated here. You decided to come here. So for whatever you choose your growth to be, or whatever you decided to come here for, you know, that's a responsibility part too, right?
Absolutely.
Absolutely. So beautiful.
So Laura, who do you want to be when you grow up? If you could do anything with money and time weren't an option, no restrictions, what would you want to do?
You know, there's some really amazing, you know, I'm a business person. I come from a corporate. I've managed teams across the country. I'm a mentor, I'm a coach. I do all of that. And that's where I see my trajectory, my business is moving as well. Bringing all the tools that I have as a clairvoyant, as a healer, and bringing them to to people that are in you know, whether it's in business, a professional, and showing them that this isn't just woo-woo stuff. This is real good stuff. So there's a few out there. I had to really kind of think. The first person that always came to my mind that I've emulated, or I'd like to emulate on some level, believe it or not, is Sarah Blakely. I've followed her on LinkedIn forever. She's the original founder and maker of Spanx. If you guys know who she is. And she was making them in her, you know, she cut her stockings and said, what the hell? Created this whole business. But it wasn't about the Spanx. It's not about the stockings. It's about what she became and what she grew on her own and created this empire. She is one of the most philanthropic people as well. She gives back. She's not about, you know, the Louis Vuitton and the jewelry, whatever it is. She creates businesses. She creates working women career businesses, works with women, and then also, you know, has, I love, love, love her little saying. She goes, again, she goes on LinkedIn a lot, and I follow her. And she'll just talk about being authentic and the authenticity of being who you are and what you can bring when you let go of the barriers. So she's always been someone that I've looked up to for that. You know, there's one other person that I find really interesting as well, you know, there's always Tony Robbins. He was my first one, you know. But there's also Mel Robbins. I've been following her a lot lately too. She's got the podcast, and I'm watching her almost grow into herself, where she's been interviewing more and more spirituality and ETs and this and that and energy. And so she's been doing more and more of that the last few years. And you can almost see her kind of growing into something where she's creating something like a space for healers to come to and be free and speak freely. So, yeah, I've been following her a lot lately too. So those would be the two people that I would emulate, as Tony Robbins teaches you to do.
Yeah,
So good.
Mel Robbins definitely has been on a journey, right? She's been slushing away layer after layer after layer after layer. It's fascinating to watch.
Yeah, peeling the onion, which I feel like I've been doing too, you know, on a lot of levels. Especially this last year has been such a transition year for me.
Yeah. I mean, just leaving corporate to go full time into your energy healing work is huge.
Correct. Yeah.
So, last question, okay? What do you want people to remember about you?
I'm the energy alchemist.
You are.
I can shift energy and work with people. I mean, I think for me, what I will really want people to know is that I am here to help people navigate life's challenges as a coach, as an energy healer, as a clairvoyant, you know, as a yogi. All of those things that I kind of bring in together is the coaching. I'm here to help people on their life purpose, help them clear whatever blockages, demons they have, traumas they have, help them move through that, clear that so that they can be clear on their life purpose.
Yay. So it's a perfect time to brag about your business. So Laura's Intuitive Wellness. So why don't you tell people more about that, what you do, what you offer, and how they can reach you?
Yeah, so just a little bit about my journey first, because I think that's really you know, my journey into holistic wellness. I've always been into, you know, before it being a fad or being more well known, I should say, because it's not a fad. It's going to continue because more and more people are getting conscious about health. But especially when I had my daughter, and even before my daughter, I was, you know, between stress, I was diagnosed with Hashimoto's. I had all kinds of weird stuff going on, Epstein-Barr virus, all this stuff. And I remember clearly going to I guess an endocrinologist, and they sent me to, at the time, Huntington Hospital, and I got one of those shots of the liquid going through me, and I went, oh, you know, the dye to check my thyroid. And I went to the doctor. I got the bad phone call that everybody's always afraid to get. I got the phone call that the results were bad. You know, that they needed me to get in right away. They wanted to see what was happening, that I was a young person and had all these issues. So I get in and I sit in front of the doctor, and he goes, "You don't look like anything's wrong with you." Opens his paper, and they had the wrong person's test results in front of him. I spent 48, maybe longer, like 72 hours thinking I'm going to die, and that I had all like cancer and all this stuff in my thyroid. And it was not me, it was somebody else. And that's when I was like, fuck this. I am not going to any more specialists or doctors or having them put dye in my arm, that I swear, as an intuitive, I felt that stuff moving through me for days, you know. I felt like an alien had gone into my body. So anyway, that was when I started, and I said, I'm doing everything. Got onto the green drink, started doing a little fasting, went into my yogic lifestyle more. So anyone that you would meet from my corporate world from 30 years ago would, oh, if you met them today, would be like, oh, Laura was always into the health. She was doing her yoga. I'd bring it into work. People would come to me, and intuitively I'd say, well, do this, take this, take vitamin C, take vitamin D, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, so that's where I started. And then through the divorce and everything, my journey just kind of went higher and higher. I found I've always been psychic. I always had been intuitive, had a lot of anxiety from that. And the anxiety was caused from pulling on other people's energies onto my body, which now I'm very clear. I know how to do that. I teach people how. But my journey into the holistic wellness was really out of myself, taking care of myself and wanting to not put myself into that type of position again. So anyway, I then got involved in, found a Reiki Master and started doing the Reiki, and then we got the Reiki Master trainings, and then did the IET, and then I went into the health and got board certified as a natural wellness practitioner, and then the yoga. So it was one thing after the other. Now, the recent training that I've done, which is what Martina came to me for, or at least in the last year, is the quantum hypnosis healing technique, which is really one of the most amazing, blow you away techniques, where you go deep into the subconscious and people get to pull and remove traumas and blockages that they didn't even know were there. And they also get to speak to their subconscious as well. And as an energy healer, because I've had it done on me by other people practicing, and as an energy healer, what's different is that I'm also bringing that as well. So when someone comes to me for a session, you're also going to a deeper level because I'm also bringing the clairvoyant healings along with it. So my business, I started my business in 2019, Laura's Intuitive Wellness. I was seeing clients. I've been seeing clients on the side. I also had an amazing mentor. Her name is Tori Quisling. She's the developer center for clairvoyance, and I worked under her tutelage for about 5 years. And she's amazing, amazing teacher. And I worked with her. And in 2019, I just started taking clients on the side. So I created this business. And as COVID hit, I was seeing people in my home. I didn't have a problem with it. I was seeing people in my home. I was doing a lot of healings on people, a lot of Reiki healings, clairvoyant healings. And then it just started to get busier and busier. And I rented a space. And next thing you know, it got busier and busier. As they say, as you build it, they will come. And everything that I've done has been through referrals or like a Martina that found me, on Google. Back in the winter of last year, I knew I was going to go full time. I knew it was just a moment of time. Again, I'm also been a coach and a leader in corporate forever as well. And it just felt inauthentic to me to be there during the day, putting on my face mask, running numbers, when I really wanted to get home and see my clients at night. I decided in May, I just woke up one morning and I wrote my letter of resignation. And it was one of the most freeing moments, I think, in my entire life, where I just woke up and wrote this letter and I bawled through it. 30 years, to say goodbye to something that was so good to me. It took care of me, took care of my daughter, sustained us. And so in June, I started this full time. I offer certain sessions. My sessions, I have 3 main sessions that I offer. I do clairvoyant readings and healings. That's the big session that I do. I have clients that come in once or twice. I hold their hand I cross them across the street, and then I let them go. And they know when they turn around, they can see me if they need to come back. I have clients that come regularly. And then I also do the quantum healing hypnosis technique. So that's another service that I offer. And then I now also do beautiful packages that I started, and they're amazing. One package, I'm calling it the Transformational Wellness Journey. So that includes everything. It's a 4-month journey. So essentially, you've got me as your coach for 4 months on this incredible healing transformation. And I include I call it a soul empowerment session where we do really deep dive interview. We do a wellness, because I'm a board certified wellness practitioner. I also do Bach flower. I do a lot of other things too. So I include that and incorporate it based on what the clients need to get the transformation. I include Reiki as well. Of course, I even, as a Reiki Master teacher, I attune people, because I really believe that Reiki, the level 1, is the gateway drug. And it really helps clear the channels to help people get even a quicker transformation. So I do attunements, I do guided meditations, I do yoga, journal work. So it's all encompassed in this 4-month journey. So I'm really excited. I have a few clients that have signed up. I have a few clients that I've just started with, and they're starting to see amazing transformations already, not only physically, but also mentally and spiritually. So excited about adding that. It's all encompassing. And then the other thing that I'm now doing is I've created this Sacred Intuition Academy. So this is brand new. This is going to start in January. I'm super excited about this. And what this is a training program for clairvoyant development. So many of my clients that are healers already themselves have a little bit of this and a little bit of that. I can teach people the tools. I've worked under some of the best teachers really in the world. And I can teach people the tools to not only heal themselves, but to heal others. So this is a program that I'm building right now. It's about a 12-week program. It'll also include healing circles. So anyone that's in the program, we're going to do weekly healing circles where people can heal themselves, work on others clairvoyantly, psychic medium, and also healing. So that's coming up as well.
It's so beautiful, because it's like the combination. It's almost like a culmination of everything you learned and gathered throughout your life, which is really exciting, right? It's like, and it comes together, and I'm sure it will shift, right? Because it always does. And then it pivots to a little the other side. But for right now, it's just really exciting to hear all that you have to offer. And how can they best find you? Through your website?
Yes. So my website is Laura Heals, Laura, HEALS, heals.com. And that's the best way to reach me. There's contact on there. They can email me at Laura Heals, but go onto my website. They'll be able to learn about all the different techniques, all the different offerings, and learn a little bit more about me too.
And they can find your ebook there.
Oh, and my ebook. Yeah. And my ebook is on there. So exciting.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, Laura. Thank you so much for being here today. Your energy is just amazing, and it was a pleasure to chat with you today. Everyone listening, thank you for being here with us. If you love this, please leave us a review. Please share with your friends, and please remember that you are extraordinary and you rock. Until next time, have a wonderful day.
Bye for now. Laura, do you want to say bye?
Thank you so much. And I'm excited to be a part of this journey with you guys as well. So thank you.
Same here. We can't wait to watch your business flourish and grow, and so that you become Mel Robbins level and transform the world. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks.